What if I told you there's a 10-minute morning routine that could add a decade to your life? That's not a headline from a clickbait website. It's the conclusion of recent research from the National Institute on Aging and Harvard Medical School. A decade of extra life, starting with 10 minutes every morning. I'm Dr. Michael Stone, and for the past 25 years I've helped thousands of men over 50 reclaim their vitality, their testosterone, their energy, and yes, their years. The problem is most guys think aging is a one-way street. You wake up, you feel stiff, you grab coffee, you shuffle through the day, and you assume that's all there is. But it's not. There's a biological cascade waiting to be triggered every morning, and missing it is costing you years of healthy life. I'm going to show you exactly what that cascade is, why it's so powerful, and how a simple 10-minute routine can reset your entire biology for longevity. But first, let me tell you about a patient named Frank. Frank was 62 when he came to my clinic. He was a retired electrician, strong, sharp, but he felt like he was running on fumes. He woke up tired, his joints ached, his libido was nearly gone, and his wife had started sleeping in the guest room, not out of anger, but because his restlessness kept her up. Frank's doctor had told him his blood work was normal for his age. Normal. That word is dangerous. Normal for a 60-year-old man in modern society is not optimal. It's a slow decline. Frank didn't want to be normal. He wanted to feel 50 again, or even 45. We started with one change, a 10-minute morning routine. Not a drastic diet overhaul, not a gym membership he'd never use, just 10 minutes. And within 3 months, Frank was waking up before his alarm. He'd dropped 12 pounds. His energy was through the roof, and his wife moved back into their bedroom. Frank added more than a decade to his life expectancy, and he did it starting with 10 minutes a day. Here's the science. Your body is designed to follow a circadian rhythm, and that rhythm is set by the first things you do after waking. For men over 50, this is critical because your cortisol levels, your melatonin production, your growth hormone secretion, and your testosterone synthesis all depend on that morning reset. When you miss that window, by sleeping in, by scrolling your phone, by skipping breakfast, you blunt the entire cascade. Your cortisol stays high all day, your insulin sensitivity drops, your mitochondria start producing less energy, and your cells age faster. Telomeres shorten, inflammation rises, the clock ticks faster. But you can flip that switch. The routine I'll share in a moment is based on 3 core principles: light, movement, and hydration. But not in the way you've heard before. The order matters, the timing matters, and the specific actions matter. Let me explain why this is different from the typical get up and go advice. Most morning routine advice is designed for 20-somethings who can eat a bagel and run a marathon. For men over 50, our bodies respond differently. We have anabolic resistance, meaning our cells don't use glucose and protein as efficiently. We have a blunted cortisol awakening response, meaning we don't get that natural morning energy spike unless we stimulate it properly. And we have a diminished nitric oxide production, which means our blood vessels don't dilate as quickly, leading to morning stiffness and higher blood pressure. A 2023 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that men over 50 who performed a specific sequence of behaviors within the first 30 minutes of waking had 37% lower markers of biological aging over a 2-year period compared to those who didn't. That's not just feeling better. That's actually slowing the aging process at the cellular level. Frank's transformation came from that same protocol. But I want to be clear. The routine itself is simple, but the mechanism is powerful because it targets the root causes of aging: mitochondrial dysfunction, systemic inflammation, and hormonal decline. Let me walk you through it. The routine is only 10 minutes long, broken into 3 blocks. 3 minutes for light exposure, 4 minutes for movement, and 3 minutes for hydration. That's it. No complicated exercises, no expensive supplements, no meditation app. But you have to do it in the right order. Start with the light. Within 5 minutes of waking, get your eyes in front of bright, natural light. Not through a window, go outside, even if it's cloudy. The blue light spectrum in early morning sun signals your suprachiasmatic nucleus, the master clock in your brain, to stop producing melatonin and start producing cortisol, in a pulse that energizes you without spiking stress. This cortisol pulse is essential for men over 50 because it drives your body's natural anabolic state. It also tells your testes to start making testosterone. A study at the University of Colorado found that men who got at least 15 minutes of morning sunlight had 20% higher free testosterone levels than those who didn't. But you don't need 15 minutes. 3 minutes of direct light exposure can trigger the cascade. I had a patient named Richard, 65, who worked from home and started his day by sitting at his computer. He was tired, irritable, and his testosterone was tanking. I told him to step outside for 3 minutes every morning. He looked at me like I was crazy. 3 minutes? He did it. Within 2 weeks, his wife noticed he was less grumpy. Within a month, his morning erections returned. 3 minutes. Now, after the light, you move. The next 4 minutes is what I call the dynamic mobility block. It's not stretching, that's passive and doesn't stimulate the nervous system. Instead, you do 4 minutes of rhythmic compound movements that raise your heart rate moderately and activate your glutes, hips, and core. This signals your body that you're in a safe, active state. It lowers cortisol, ramps up growth hormone, and improves insulin sensitivity. The movements can be as simple as walking lunges, bodyweight squats, or a slow-paced bear crawl, anything that moves multiple joints and loads the skeleton. The key is to avoid bouncing or fast, explosive movements, which can increase injury risk for men over 50. A 2022 paper in the Journal of Gerontology showed that men who performed 10 minutes of moderate morning movement had a 32% reduction in inflammatory markers like CRP and IL-6 over 12 weeks. That's a direct anti-aging effect. Finally, the hydration block. 3 minutes to drink water. Not coffee, not tea, just water. But here's the trick. Add a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. The salt provides sodium and trace minerals that help your adrenals activate properly. The lemon provides citrate, which supports alkalinity and helps flush uric acid. This combination, taken on an empty stomach, kickstarts your digestive system and rehydrates your cells after the overnight fast. Most men over 50 are chronically dehydrated because they don't drink enough water and they don't absorb it properly. The salt lemon water has been shown to improve plasma volume within minutes, which lowers blood pressure and improves cognitive function. I've seen patients who thought they had brain fog clear up in days with just this one change. Now, here's where the app comes in. I've been tracking these morning routines with my patients for years, and the ones who do it consistently get the best results. But consistency is the hardest part because life gets in the way. So I started using a simple tool with them, a health tracking app designed for men over 50 that reminds you of your morning protocol and lets you log your daily habits. It's not complicated, it just keeps you accountable. I'll leave a link to it in the pinned comment below. It's the same tracking tool I use in my clinic, and it's been a game changer for guys like Frank and Richard. After you've set up that, let me tell you about the deeper science. The reason this 10-minute routine works so powerfully is because it addresses the aging accelerators that are specific to men over 50. One of those is the cortisol-melatonin flip. As we age, our circadian clock becomes less sensitive, meaning we produce melatonin later and produce a blunted cortisol awakening response. By exposing your eyes to light immediately, you force the flip to happen early. That alone can shift your entire day's hormonal profile. Another accelerator is the morning cortisol spike that happens when you hit snooze. When you go back to sleep after your first alarm, your body starts a new sleep cycle. But it's interrupted by the second alarm, creating a double cortisol surge that spikes your stress hormone and leaves you groggy. The solution is simple. Get up at the first alarm, no snooze. That alone can reduce cortisol by up to 25%. The third accelerator is the breakfast insulin spike. Most men over 50 eat a carbohydrate-heavy breakfast, cereal, toast, juice, which spikes insulin and then crashes blood sugar by mid-morning. The 4-minute movement block, done before breakfast, primes your muscles to take up glucose without needing as much insulin. It improves your metabolic flexibility. The 3-minute hydration block then provides the fluid needed for digestion. But, and this is critical, you should hold off eating breakfast for at least 45 minutes after the routine. That gives your body time to ramp up growth hormone and use fat for energy. This concept is called time-restricted feeding, and it's been shown in numerous studies to extend lifespan in animal models. Human studies are confirming it. Men who fast for at least 14 hours overnight have lower insulin, lower inflammation, and longer telomeres. The 10-minute morning routine is the on-ramp to that fasting window. It also does something else. It increases your parasympathetic tone, which is the rest and digest branch of your nervous system. As we age, our sympathetic system, fight or flight, becomes overactive, and our parasympathetic system declines. This imbalance leads to high blood pressure, poor sleep, and accelerated aging. The morning routine, especially the rhythmic movement and the salt water, stimulates the vagus nerve and shifts the balance toward calm. One patient I had, Tom, 72, came to me because he was falling asleep at his desk by 2 in the afternoon. His doctor had told him it was normal aging. I put him on the morning routine. After 2 weeks, his afternoon crashes were gone. After 6 weeks, he had stopped his blood pressure medication under his doctor's supervision. His wife called me to say she had her husband back. That's the power of 10 minutes. But let me give you 3 more tips that will amplify the results even further. First, after your morning routine, expose the back of your knees and your hands to the sunlight for another 2 minutes if you can. This stimulates vitamin D production through the skin, and vitamin D is critical for testosterone synthesis and immune function. Most men over 50 are deficient. Second, switch your morning coffee to after breakfast, not before. Coffee on an empty stomach can spike cortisol even higher, which undermines the calming effect of the routine. Wait at least 45 minutes. Third, make your bedroom pitch dark and cool, around 65 degrees at night, so that when your alarm goes off, you're in a light sleep stage and waking is easy. If you wake up groggy, you did something wrong the night before. Now let me close the loop I opened at the beginning. Frank, Richard, Tom, they all started with 10 minutes. They didn't overhaul their lives. They didn't spend thousands on supplements. They just changed the first 10 minutes of their day. And that changed everything. Because aging isn't just about the passing of time, it's about the choices you make in each moment. The choice to get up, step outside, move your body, and hydrate with purpose. That choice compounds. It adds up to years. If you want to start this routine tonight, set your alarm for a time that gives you 10 minutes, plus enough time to delay breakfast. Tomorrow morning, do this. Open your eyes, immediately get out of bed. No snooze. Go outside for 3 minutes. Then come inside and do 4 minutes of lunges, squats, or bear crawls, slow and controlled. Then drink a glass of water with a pinch of salt and lemon. That's it. Repeat it for 30 days. I guarantee you'll feel different. And if you want to track your progress and stay consistent, check out the tool I recommend to my patients. It's linked in the pinned comment below. It'll remind you of your protocol and let you see how your morning habits correlate with your energy, mood, and sleep. Subscribe to this channel if you want more science-backed strategies to live longer and stronger. I'm Dr. Michael Stone, and I'll see you in the next video.